know, Dwight has been a friend of the Richmond community for a long time. He certainly has, and has done a marvelous work in the city in a lot of capacities. And because of the years of services that he has dedicated his life to for the city of Richmond, coming in as the mayor has been a very easy transition. And he looks good. He doesn't look like he's worn out. So he's doing a good job, and he's not worn out like he just, you know, can't get from one day to the next. And so we had sent an open invitation to your office to, you know, welcome you to the city as our mayor, and also to welcome always a standing invitation to our town meetings. We always meet on the second Saturday of the month at 10 o'clock right here. So if there's any time that, and we also check with your press secretary every month to get from her notice of anything that has come up since the last month, and we can share with the citizens as well. And she's provided us with some information for that, and we'll make that available to the citizens. And then what we also do is, when we get information like that, we give it to the members here, they give it to their civic association, so they have an opportunity to continue to get the word out as to what's going on for those, keep the citizens involved in the process. In addition to the town meeting that we have the second Saturday of every month, on that same Saturday, because our district is so, the boundaries all over the city of Richmond, you know, we've got south side and north side, and Mechanics, part of Mechanicsville too, but there are Walter Kenny and Obadiah live and all of that neighborhood with and all of that is there. So what we're doing now is that we have this meeting in the morning, then in the afternoon at 2 o'clock I go south side and do a special meeting on south side, and then the next month I go north side and have a meeting on the Town Park by Ice area. So we get the residents closer to that community area. When we go south side, what we're focusing on is the fact that children, the fact that jail beds are built based on kids not reading by 3rd grade. The residents of the south side are working to create a strategy and a model by which, if we identify those children that are not reading to grade level by the 3rd grade, 4th grade, we want to put together a model that can be replicated throughout the city, but we're starting with Oak Grove and Bellmead Elementary School to make a commitment to those children that you're not going to jail. We're going to make sure that you go to a higher education. Okay? And so that methodology of process of how we get there is something that we are trailing uncharted waters and trying to get there. Today we're going to Emmanuel Church. We meet here at 2 o'clock. We have 26 service providers that provide services for children and families that are going to be meeting with us. Just going to chart those services across the wall in that sanctuary. And the objective is that we're trying to identify what are the key fundamental things that we got to focus on so the kids are reading to grade level by the time we get there. So we're approaching it from a preventive measure, but then we also want to pick those up that don't make it and create a strategy by which we can assure them that they will graduate from school and that they will go on to an institution of higher learning. And we want to send a message to the state of Virginia to say, count on somebody else, but you're not counting on our kids that are not reading, because at that age, woe unto us. If we know at that age that kids that are reading, jail beds are planning for them, and we allow it to happen. It's just not right. So that's what Southside is focusing on. We go north side of the river, we'll focus on housing, abandoned property, mixed uses of houses that are illegal, rooming houses, and just the tremendous number of blighted structures that we have throughout the north side of Richmond and Mechanicsville, housing East End area, where we've got Wickham Court that is continually to be more vacant and vacant and vacant. You know, they're moving people out and not and so you're getting a lot of boarding up properties over there. You got a lot of blight around Wickenport area, and so we're dealing with the continual deterioration of the community through blight. So that's for the benefit of everybody here, but especially for you, Mr. Mayor. We want you to kind of have a feel for what we're working on and what we're going on. And that's where the Gulfport, the Matthew Heights, and all of that fit into that redevelopment strategy. So with that, Mayor Jones, would you be kind enough to open us up in prayer and also have a few comments? All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, for the blessings of life, we give you thanks and praise, and for this day that you have created, we magnify your name. It's a good time to be alive, and we thank you for life, and we thank you for well-being. We thank you for a democracy that allows us to participate in it. We pray now your blessings upon what we say and do, that it might be pleasing in your sight, for we ask it in your name. And we say together, amen.
Amen.
Delighted to be able to just share a few minutes with you this morning, and to Ellen Robertson, the Vice President of City Council, and the Chairperson of the Finance Committee. We are happy to have such a Energizer Bunny as the leader of the 6th District. She does a wonderful job, and she is commended for the work that she does, and she's handling the business. You need to know that when you're home asleep, she's handling the business. And the city council meetings, they're not fun. They take a lot of time, and she's just doing that. And she forgot to tell you that she's the reason why I'm here, because when things were not going so well during the last 4 years, she was one of the first ones who came and said, we got to do something, and you ought to be the one to do it. so I thank her for her support. And just let me just say one or two things, and if you want to ask me any questions, we will, but I'm not going to take a lot of time. The key to the new administration is collaboration, communication, and cooperation. And that's what we've worked on. That's going to be the foundation of our administration, is to work with and not against the people who are working. One of the things I found at becoming mayor is that there are a lot of good people working for the city of Richmond. We have 4,000 employees, and out of those 4,000 employees, I would venture to say the vast majority are good, competent people who want to do a good job. And so what we want to do is to enable them, encourage them, and on the campaign trail, I said you can win more bees with honey than you can with venom. And so we want to make people know that they're valued. And that extends to the members of the school board and city council. Ellen and I have been meeting weekly, at least weekly, and talking sometimes more than that. And we want to make sure that at the district level, the job is getting done. And so I want to work with Ellen, but not only Ellen, all of the members of city council, make sure that the job gets done. And so I've also tried to work with her, and will continue to work with her, so that we can have results with the Dove Street, Dove Court development. And we want to make sure that it is one that decentralizes poverty, but also acknowledges our need and our responsibility to those who need affordable housing. And so we're not going to try to just dismantle any of these places, and not be very insistent that persons who are there now are able to go to the next level. And Ellen is absolutely tireless in making sure that that happens. And so I'm delighted to work with her in that regard. Also, you might have read that I've withdrawn the appeals. The city had spent over the last year or so, 2 years, about $1.2 million in legal fees, and we were poised to go to the Supreme Court to continue fighting these battles. And so at some point, somebody has to say enough is enough. And so we dropped those appeals, and the city has a charter reform commission that is working, and I believe that we can work out any differences, fill any voids, and take away any ambiguity that exists in the charter through the commission. That's the way to get it done. The way to go to court is like when we were on the playground at school. You know, we would just bluff each other and call each other out, you know, and see who won the fight. That's not the way for us to work as adults. We need to sit down at the table and see if we can't get the job done. Also, I mentioned to the City Council last week that one of the goals I have for the city is for us to have a AAA bond rating. What does that mean? It means that we lose the perception of being inept and improperly managed. A AAA bond rating says it all. When a city has a AAA bond rating, it says you're the best of the best, the cream of the crop. No questions need to be asked. And I think that all of us should be tired of being minimized and being thought less of by the region because we are the urban center. I think that we ought to prove that we can do as well as anybody else, that we're just as efficient as anybody else. As a matter of fact, we're going to bring home the best bonding rating that you can get in America. And so that's one of the things we're going to work with. But in order to do that, it means that we are going to have to tighten our belts. And when it gets down to the district level, it's difficult to do that because all of us want to deliver to our constituents. I want to deliver to our constituents. But we're living in a very, very hard time. This recession is no joke. And it's hurting everybody. It's showing up everywhere. And so the dollars to be spent this year are going to be absolutely minimal, if not minimal. They'll be absent. And so we're going to have to learn how to do more with less as we have before. I guess I don't know how we can keep on doing more with less, but we're going to have to try to continue to do more with less. And this time around, we know that it's the truth. We know that the money, I mean, when you have a recession like this, people are not eating in restaurants, people are not building houses, assessments are flat or down, and so the budget is just not going to have the money that we would ordinarily have. And so you need to be understanding when you ask your council person to do this or to do that. And this particular year, she may not be able to do all of those things because the money's going to be tight. So I hope that you will understand that, and just like all of us are tightening our belts in our homes and in our communities, we're going to have to do it in the city as well. I think that Ellen is absolutely on target with this second and third grade initiative, and I certainly want to help her in any way that I can to make that happen. One of the things that I inherited was the need for a new city jail. All of us know the deplorable condition of the city jail, a jail that's supposed to, I think it's supposed to house 800 or 800 and 1,500 people in there. And so, and not only are there 1,500 people in there, but mentally ill people are in there. People who have done non-violent crimes are in there. And one of the things I've said, Ellen, is that I'm not going to accept the projections of a jail that's so huge that what we'll do is just keep on filling up the beds. And so, you know, we can build a jail with 2,500 beds, and before you know it, Obadiah, we'll just fill it up. Don't have anywhere, well, we got that jail down there. Let's send them down to that jail. So I refuse to build a jail that's so huge. I refuse to do that. We're going to build a new jail, but it's going to be a jail with a capacity that says we're going to change the way things happen, and we're not going to send the next generation to jail. Also, we're going to find a way to handle the mentally ill by not sending them to jail. That's not where they belong. We're also going to find a way to handle nonviolent offenders where they're in jail spending your tax money when they could be someplace with an ankle. If what's his name? Abel, what's his name? The man on Park Avenue. Huh? Yeah. Well, anyway, he stole Madoff. Madoff. Yeah. He did a Ponzi scheme, billions and billions of dollars, and instead of putting him in jail, they put him in a $7 million Park Avenue condominium penthouse with an ankle around his leg. So if they could do that for him, then we can do that for somebody who might not have paid their child support, or somebody who has some traffic violations. They don't belong in jail because that's killing us, spending all of that money to take care of her. So I agree with that, and anything I can do to work with you in that regard, in the educational regard. And then the whole cooperation thing, I think, is important because I don't know about other administrations, but I get along well with the superintendent of schools. And I think that that's a good thing. I think that if you're going to be mayor of a city, you ought to have a working relationship with your superintendent, particularly if you want to see education improve. And so we have a very strong relationship. Yvonne Brandon, I believe, is a strong, competent superintendent who's going to do an excellent job, and we need to make sure she gets the tools to do that. Quite quickly, regional cooperation, we're working hard to work with our regional partners. Richmond's not going to be great by itself, nor is Henrico or Chesterfield in isolation. We've got to work together. So for the first time that anybody really is able to tell me about, I've been participating in all of the regional meetings, sitting across the table with the county managers, the county boards of supervisors. I've gone to the county, the Chesterfield County board meeting. I think in the next couple of weeks, I'm scheduled to go to Henrico, and then I'm going to go to Hanover, and then we want to go south because we always tend to think that the only regional partners we have are Henrico and Chesterfield, but we also have Hopewell and Petersburg, and with the Fort Lee building its numbers up so largely, we really need to look south as well as north and west. So we'll be doing that, and I think that is going to be a wonderful thing for us to have. The auditor last year made a lot of comments. We have met with the auditor, and one of my new beginnings is to be very transparent, and the things that the auditor has mentioned we're going to work with. The master plan, I think, is a wonderful master plan. We want to make sure that the river is accessible to everybody. As a boy, I grew up in a very congested urban area, but I remember from time to time my parents would pack a picnic basket and we would go out, and if it was no more than to eat dinner in the park or by the river in the city that I grew up in, that's a memory that I have as a child, and I think that we need to make the river accessible so that our young people can have those memories as well. And so I just want to stop by and tell you that I'm looking forward to continuing to work with your representative, Ellen Robertson, and to working with you and to making sure that the 6th District is not forgotten or left out, but that the 6th District is as important as any district in any part of town. And that's not because I work there, but or have a church there, but because I ran to make sure that everybody would have a voice, not just those who are able to contribute and to lobby. So with that being said, Ellen, if there's anything specifically you would like me to talk about, I'll be more than happy to talk about it. Or if there are any questions that anybody has, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you Eddie Radden, I knew you were going to ask a question.
Well, Mayor Jones, I know we've always constantly over the years and everywhere we talk about affordable housing.
Right.
Where are the affordable housing?
Yeah.
And I know we keep talking about it's always up there, but nobody seems to, people are being evicted from their homes, and you say, where are they going? You got people, they really have to forgive me for,
That's all right.
And this is one thing I'm concerned about, the affordable housing. We keep building houses, but they are not really, houses are not coming down.
Yeah.
Even in South Side, they're coming down with no degree where you can get, I mean, what about the local, I wouldn't call it corruption, but they buying these houses, they causing foreclosure, the banks have, and the people are being put out on the street. What do the district, not that we are having it in the South Side, but overall, I'm speaking for the whole thing, what are they doing, what are the city itself going to do about this? We talk about affordable
our
housing.
agency for affordable housing is Richmond Development Housing Fund.
That?
Our agency for housing is the Housing Authority, Richmond Redevelopment Housing Fund.
Yeah, I know.
And I agree that, and Ellen is working extremely hard on this agenda, and that is to ensure that we don't replace these depositories of or concentrations of poverty, that we don't replace them with other concentrations of poverty. And so what the plan is to spread affordable housing out. So you have market rate housing, and then you have affordable housing. But you don't know which one is affordable.
Right.
And which one is market.
Right.
And so when you look at the neighborhood, the first thing that comes to your mind is not, oh, this is a bad neighborhood. First thing that comes to your mind is this is a good neighborhood. And so that's what we're working on. Now, where are we in that process? It's still evolving, but that's where we want to get. And I feel very confident in saying that, particularly as we look at Gilpin and as we look at Dove Court, I believe that you finally have a team in place that has their eyes on the ball and that is not going to let the process take place without having some strong attention given to making sure that the people who get displaced, the people who need affordable housing, are not in the equation. We missed it in Blackwell, you know we did. And we're not going to miss it again, or I'm not going to allow it to be missed again. We're going to work very hard to make sure that that doesn't happen. So we're on the case, working for it, and our goal is to make sure that we have affordable housing, but that you don't know where it is. Because young people need to be in a diverse setting where they have something to look up to, something to look forward to. If all I have around me is failure, then I might become a failure. But if I have some success around me, a different model, a different modality, then I have something to strive for. And that's what we want to do. And I'm on that case. I know Ellen is on that case. And we're going to work really hard at it.
Any other questions?
I love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You didn't want me to beg them, huh?
We'll see you next time.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, it's good to have the mayor with us this morning. And let me just encourage you, there will be things that come up that you may have questions about, to know that he's very open, and when he says collaboration and communication are the hallmarks, are going to be the hallmarks of his administration, he's sincere about that. And the issue, the opportunities for regional cooperation is something that I believe that we will experience in a more profound way than we have previously And a lot of it is because he has taken the initiative to go out to those meetings and to meet with people. You know, if you want to engage people and have people involved, a lot of time it means that you do have to go, you got to go to them, and you got to show yourself willing to be a part of that. One of the things that Mayor Jones has done from a regional perspective that I'm directly involved is that he appointed me to be on this regional workforce commission that just recently has been set up. Over the past year or so, he has been, the state has been working on creating a regional workforce. And what has been happening prior to that is that funding for workforce development, workforce training, people that are laid off from their jobs, people that don't have a job, need training for jobs and so forth. Richmond has been providing that services within Richmond. And we've been getting a little bit over $1 million on an annual basis to provide job training and to help people that are underemployed get training, and people that have been laid off from their jobs find new jobs and so forth in the city of Richmond. The other 8 localities within our region also receive funding for that same purpose, and they have been working as one unit, and Henrico County has been serving as their fiscal agent to oversee the revenue that they get to do the same thing. Now, those 8 counties have been getting something like about $500,000 collectively, whereas Richmond was getting $1 million independently just for the city of Richmond. Some of those localities added additional money out of their general fund to the workforce initiative to make their budget a little bit more than the $500,000 that they were getting from the state through the federal government. With the new initiative of the governor to create these regional centers for workforce development, Richmond was probably one of the few that were still operating independently and not, in a regional operation. So over the past year, there has been a strong effort to unify those and create a regional workforce. That has been done. All of the 8 surrounding counties and the city of Richmond signed an agreement to establish a regional workforce. As a part of that, there's one elected official from each of those 8 counties and the city of Richmond that makes up the board that will set the policy as it relates to how collectively that $1 million, the $500,000, all will be put into one pot, and any other contributions of funding, there is some additional stimulus money that is being put in that pot this year as well, will make decisions of where the training is going to be provided, how we access the people that need the training, where the one-stop centers are going to be. So when